I don't want it. Get your mentality in that place, set it for 60 minutes. Get down with the drill of the mentality, getting that energy going, getting some energy readings going, opening up the ability inside of ourselves, start talking about how we can get that mentality into that place. Get that mentality into that ability, open yourself up, excel at the things that you would like to excel at, achieve your dreams, achieve your goals, achieve your ability to be yourself. So what kind of challenges are you facing off against today? What kind of things are you going through? Opening up an open chat here, getting ourselves into that kind of mentality. A lot of people, we ask ourselves, how are we going to do it? How are we going to get there? And then somebody actually comes along and starts to say, let's do this, let's become this, let's achieve this. And so what is that achieve that? What is success to you? What is the ability to sit down with yourself to actually start to get into yourself? How do you start to get there? How do you start to ask yourselves that type of question? How do you start to get the energy to start to flow to that mentality? How do you start to get down with yourself to that place? When you go online, you start looking things up. You start looking into what are some of the biggest questions? What is reality? What is life? Do you have a free will? Is the universe a place for you to live? What is consciousness? Will we ever have a theory of everything? And what happens after you die? So I'm going to start breaking down those challenges and start to look at them. Let's go ahead and start with the first one. What is reality? What is the ability for you to sit down with yourself? What does it take for you to put your mindset into that kind of a place? And also, open chat is welcome. Calling in is welcome. Looking at how we can start to get this thing into this kind of mentality. So these are the top questions I want to work with today. I want to work with, how do we create a reality? What is a reality? A lot of us are looking outwards for reality. What about looking inside yourself? What about looking at the ability to be who you are, to face off against the challenges that you've gone through, to get to the places where you want to go? What is life? What is it? What journey are you on? What path are you on? What questions are you asking yourself on a daily basis? How are you starting to break them down? How are you starting to put them in place? Are you focused? Are you putting your level of mentality in the right place? Are you putting it into the ability inside of yourself to give yourself that kind of permission, to give yourself that kind of place, to give yourself that kind of mentality? Do we have a free will? That's a very good question. Are we able to free ourselves should be the question to look at the most. Are you able to free your mind? Are you able to free your ability to get to that place inside of yourself where you start to use your mentality? What about in the universe? What about it? What is it in the universe that's important to you? If you were a tool in the universe, which you are, a tool in the universe, what would those tools be that you would utilize? What gifts do you have? Can you see your process working? Are you giving yourself the ability to get past that? And what does it mean to be aware? You can leave clues around. You can leave things there for yourself. You could put things on paper. You can listen to positivity. You could put yourself in a place to bring it towards a positive direction. You can put yourself in a positive mentality so that you start to understand your consciousness, your ability to be yourself. What does it mean to be you, though? That's the question that's been asked, one of the biggest questions in the universe. And how do we start to use those kind of tools? How do we start to get to that kind of place? Will we ever have a theory of everything? What is everything? That is a really good question. What is the whole being? What is your purpose? What is your path? What is your journey? Do you have a mentality in that kind of place? Do you have a mentality on that kind of path? What is your path? How do you start to focus to that level? How do you start to create that kind of foundation? And so as we start to ask ourselves these biggest questions, what are the biggest questions in the face of the universe? Are you a universal aspect? Are you actually a view in the universe? Can you see your own view in the universe? Can you start to get to your own consciousness to see that there's more than you in the universe, and that all you have control over is this one thing, this ability for you to live, this ability for you to see yourself as a blessing? Can you see past good and bad? Can you see positive and negative forces working in your direction, in your path? Can you see that journey coming through you? Can you see that breath inside of yourself? Can you start to ask yourself how the energy inside starts to flow? How? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, how do I breathe? How do I process? How do I think? How do I put myself in that kind of a place? Do I have that kind of mentality? Do I have that kind of path? Do I have that kind of journey? And so as we ask ourselves those deepest questions, that's when we start to recognize that we are absolutely on our own path. We each have our own path. We've each had our own life. We've had our own journey. It's up for us to see it for ourselves. It's up for us to be on our own path, on our own journey. And that is exciting. That is absolutely exciting, that you can be a tool in the universe, that the universe can utilize you, that the universe can utilize you on a daily. It can get to the place where, you have the ability to ask the biggest questions in the universe. And so what can those questions be? What are the types of questions that you would ask if you could see outside of yourself to you? What would you ask the universe? What would you ask the universe is the ability for you to see beyond you? And so when you recognize that this universe utilizes you, that you are a ripple in this universe, that when you focus the simplicity of oneself, the simplicity of this path, the simplicity of this journey is worth it. The simplicity of this ability is worth it. The simplicity of this self is worth it. And so as we allow it, as we give ourselves that place, as we give ourselves that mentality, as we give ourselves that purpose, we see our own journey, we see our own path. And as we put this stuff in front of ourselves, we truly recognize that, I have a lifetime. I have whatever time I have on the face of the planet. I've already lived how many years? How many years have you lived on the face of the planet? Have you started to ask yourself some of these questions? And what are those questions? What does it mean to be focused? Let's go ahead and see what it means to be focused online. Let's see what actually comes up. Let's go ahead and check it out. Last time I looked it up, it said it was a lens. To actually see a lens, to see a point, to have a meaning. And what is a meaning? What is a meaning? What does it mean for you to find a meaning within yourself? To specify something, to specify oneself, to master one's craft, to master one's ability. To get to that place where you are focused, nailing that right on the dot, putting yourself in a place where what you have is you, where what you utilize is your mentality, where what you're asking yourself every day, is it motivation? Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. And so how do we start to get there for ourselves? How do we start to overcome our own challenges? What is it going to take for you to start to see that you are a blessing in the universe? Is it going to happen when you start to help out other people? Is it going to happen when you're starting to plan things out, when you're starting to put in front of yourself, when you're starting to see with what you have you can do? That when you have yourself, you are a blessing. When you have your ability, when you have your mentality, when things start coming in your direction, when the mentality starts to become an ability, when the ability starts to happen and it starts to focus, when you truly start to get down with that level of grind, and you see that what you have you can do with what you got, that you don't need more than what you have. What you need is your mentality to be there. You need you to be there. You need you to be in you. You need to be on your path. When you start to see that for yourself, when you start to get down with yourself on that level of grind, that's when things start to manifest themselves around you. When you focus to that level, when you focus to that place, when you give yourself that permission to be you. And what does that mean? What am I talking about? Am I talking about self-study? Am I talking about the ability for you to get down with yourself? Where does it start? Where does it start to manifest itself to where it starts to become a reflection on the outside? What do we mean by reflection on the outside? It's not when you call it, it's when other people call it. It's when other people see you as that. It's when other people call you that. It's when other people recognize you. It's interesting, a lot of singers are not recognized till after they die. The reason why is because it's the ripples left behind. So can you start to recognize that on your own journey? And what gives you the permission to start your journey? Have you put yourself in a place where it's you versus you? And that's where it all starts. It all starts inside of your mentality. How bad do you want to dominate your walk? How bad do you want to dominate your life? Or are you letting somebody else control your life? Are you letting somebody else control your day, your week, your month, your year? Or are you living your week, your month, your year? And what has given you the permission to live that? Have you sat down and written it down? Have you put it in front of yourself? Have you said, okay, I'm going to take control of my future? It's not what happened in the past. That is not what we can change. We cannot try to make changes. We must see who we are. We must see the beauty that we have inside of ourselves. We must see the mentality that we have, the ability to get to that place to give ourselves that kind of permission. And it's not going to come from somewhere else. It's going to come from inside of yourself. It's going to come from the time that you spend by yourself. It's going to come from the ability to see that you can vibrate with a light, that you can vibrate with a mentality, that your level of focus is worth it, that you have what it takes inside of you to move forward, to continue your journey, to continue your path, to get to that place where you're using your gifts, you're using your abilities. A lot of singers sing because of what they feel inside. Get to the place where you're focusing beyond that, where you're looking to become the best in the face of the planet, where you're looking to be the best writer, the best speaker, the best author. What are you looking for unless you're looking for that ability to have that positivity, where the positive things that are coming out you are vibrating, where the positive abilities that are coming out of you are not a surprise. Don't be surprised when the results come. Work on that place of focus. Work on that ability. Recognize when you give yourself the ability to plan, you plan not to fail. And when failures come, they're nothing less than successes because the mentality is in place. The mentality has the ability to overcome the challenges. The mentality has the ability to focus beyond that, to get to that place where you have a purpose, you have a path, because you have been on your journey. Ask yourself how long you've been on your journey. Ask yourself how long you've been on your path. Ask yourself, how do you start to focus beyond your own challenges? Is it going to come from within? Is it going to be when you see it for yourself? Is it going to be when other people see it? And it doesn't matter if other people see it. That's the greatest part. It's what you believe about yourself. It's what you sit down and study on. It's what you focus on that you're going to achieve or not achieve. It's when you're willing to put in the time to sit down with yourself, to write that extra verse, to speak that extra line, to sit down when 1 or 1 billion people are in front of you. When you uplift just one life, when you just uplift one person, it's worth it. When you put yourself in a place when you're so focused that the reflection that radiates is a place of motivation. That's the question I ask myself every day. Is it motivation? Is it a place of focus to the point where what I'm talking about is radiating in you? Where what I'm talking about is uplifting you? Where what I'm talking about is driving you to achieve it for yourself? Are you getting there for you? Are you sitting down? Are you seeing those changes inside of yourself? Are you seeing your ability that you can believe in yourself, that you can achieve your level of finances, that you can achieve your level of dreams, that you can overcome your challenges, that the blessings can come your way from your level of mentality, that every tool in the universe is meant for you? And so what are the tools in the universe? How do they work? Can we become that kind of a process? Can we have that kind of foundation? And what is that kind of foundation? Are we focused to that level? Are we giving ourselves that place? Are we sitting down with ourselves to where we see these things working in our favor? And how do they start to? Where do they start to? What does it take to start? It can take you just simply sitting down and starting to study yourself. It could take you simply sitting down and studying your breath. It can take you simply sitting down and saying, I'm going to give myself time. I'm going to give myself a place. I'm going to give myself a part of a day. And each day matters. There's no day that doesn't matter. Every day accounts for your whole life. Each day that you live your life, are you living with 100% you, where the universe is becoming the process of working through you? Are you allowing the Most High God in this universe for you to become a blessing so that you can bless others as well, so that you can uplift others, so that you can change lives by being yourself? And so I often say, let those people that are not meant for you move out of the way on their own, so that the things that can come in your direction are meant to come in your direction, because they'll fill in those spaces. They'll fill in those challenges. It's up for you to focus on your level of ability. It's up for you to focus on your level of mentality. It's up for you to understand that you are worth it, that your path, your journey, your purpose is worth it, that you are a blessing in this universe. And so each day that you wake up, recognize that. Recognize that you have a breath, that you have a purpose, that you are a tool in this universe, that you have a journey, and that your path is worth it. When you recognize that your path is worth it, when you recognize that your journey has a place, it has a purpose, you have a reason to wake up every day. You have a reason to see positivity in your day. Not every day is going to be easy. And it's not meant to be easy, because when you face off against your challenges and you overcome them, you start to recognize that this universe can start working in your favor. And it's with that mentality that you start to change the things that are going on around you to the person that you already are and have always been on the inside. When we start to recognize that that kind of tool starts to work, the importance of writing stuff down starts to happen. The importance of putting it in front of ourselves. The importance of that kind of mentality, that kind of ability, those kinds of challenges, that kind of place inside of ourselves has a purpose. You have a purpose. You started this journey. You started this path. You saw dreams in front of yourself. You saw challenges in front of yourself. See the ability. Give yourself that permission to focus to that level. Give yourself the permission to focus to that path. Give yourself the permission to focus to that level of journey where you are a blessing, because you have blessings that you can, not only for yourself is it selfish for you to not live the best life that you can live. It's also selfish to other people when you are not yourself. Think about what I just said. It's selfish to other people when you are not being yourself. We need the artists. We need the singers. We need the writers. We need the speakers in this universe. We need you. This universe needs you. It needs your gifts. It needs your abilities. It needs your challenges. And it needs you more than anything to focus on your journey. And how do you start to see your own path unless you focus, unless you sit down, unless you study yourself, unless you give yourself the time to focus to that level, unless you give yourself the place to get down with your own challenges. And what challenges? Each of us have different things. Each of us are going to have different challenges. It's when we start to see the positivity in the challenges that the universal law of Newton starts to work. For each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The mentality, the focus, the ability for the positivity to start to become the result is not a surprise. It's not a surprise when things start to happen. It's not a surprise when you start to have enough. It's not a surprise when you work so hard, you focus so much, you're so tired and you're still going. You're still getting up. When it's one person or 1,000 people listening, you're not surprised. And so don't be surprised in the results and the reflection. Don't be surprised in the ability. And when things aren't working in your favor, remember, when you allow positivity to take over, the ability for that to see that positive place, to see that positive mentality, to give yourself that positive ability. For each action, there's an equal and opposite. So recognize that positivity is there for you to be tested by the universe. And the universe with negativity is nothing less than the universe asking you if what you want is what you truly want. Is what you want what you truly want, so that you can allow the things that are not meant for you to no longer fill that place, to no longer fill that ability, to no longer fill those challenges. So when positivity starts to fill those places, give it the permission to do so. Give it the permission to be in that place where you are so focused. You are so focused that what happens is not a surprise. It's other people that tell you. Let other people call you a reflection of focus. And that reflection is motivation. So you don't have to say to yourself, I'm not motivated or I'm motivated. Sit down and grind. Sit down and focus. Sit down and put yourself in a place where your ability overcomes it. If you want to do jewelry, or you want to do yoga, or you want to meditate, or you want to put yourself in a place where you can achieve things, put those in front of yourself in a focused level. Put them in front of yourself where it's not on somebody else, where it comes from within, where the mentality has the ability to drive you. Be focused on little amounts of things. Focus on the simplicity of the things that you're doing, so that you can do the best that you can do, so that you can become that, so that that light can radiate outwards, so that mentality can radiate outwards. And so as we give ourselves that place, if we're going to do one thing, let's do it well. If we're going to go through one challenge, let's go through one at a time. Let's stop trying to multitask. Let's start taking on a challenge at a time. Let's overcome our challenges. Let's do the best with the challenges that we have. Let's turn those challenges positive. Let's allow what's going on inside to manifest outwards. Let's let that process of us being a tool in the universe work. Let's let our jobs, our positions, our challenges, our focus, our abilities inside of ourselves become a mentality. And let's start to create a purpose to live. Let's start to create a path and a journey to recognize it. And how do we start to do that? By writing it down, by putting it in front of ourselves, by giving ourselves the ability to have a daily path, have a daily journey, to have a daily blessing, have a daily meditation, to have a daily practice, to have time for ourselves, to have ability to give ourselves a minimum of 10% of our day, or at least 1 hour a day, at least 1 hour of thought, at least 1 hour of mentality, at least 1 hour of ability. And what could that be? That could be singing, that could be writing, that could be reading, that could be reading spiritual books, mental books, learning about how to do something, putting ourselves in that kind of a place where we utilize things like the 10 Scrolls of Success by Og Mandino, like the science of getting rich, like the ability to put yourself, to give yourself the vibration, to give yourself the ability to get down with your own challenges, where you start to see the blessings moving in your direction, where you actually literally start to see them and start to study them and start to understand them and start to recognize that you are a blessing in this universe. And that is how we start to have that kind of mentality. We start to get to that place inside of ourselves. We start to get to those kind of challenges. We start to get to that place where we believe in ourselves, where we see that everything that we do, every challenge that we go through, every ability that we have, every gift that we have is a tool, it's a path, it's a purpose. And as we allow ourselves to shine through that, as we give ourselves that place, as we give ourselves that ability, as we give ourselves that kind of permission to go beyond where other people would go, as we allow ourselves to be honest with ourselves, as we give ourselves that kind of place where you are you, where you only challenge you're facing off against is yourself. Only things that you need to go through are what you're going through. And as you give yourself that place on your journey, you will start to find that a joy starts to come your way. A joy starts to come through you. It starts to come through the light of focus, the light of the process, and enjoy the process. Enjoy the challenges. Enjoy the ability to be yourself. Enjoy the ability to face off against those kinds of things. Because with a positive mentality, you will find a positive outcome. You will find a positive ability. You will find a way to bypass the challenges. You'll find a way to overcome the things that matter, is what's going on inside. And how do we get to that place on the outside unless we start to study ourselves, unless we start to program ourselves with the mentality of positivity, unless we start to put it in front of ourselves that we can achieve it, we can become it, we can do this, we can focus beyond it, that blessings can come your way, that blessings can work with you, that you are a process, that you are a journey, that you have a path, that your purpose is to be a light in this universe, that you have that kind of focus, that your manifestation is to become a blessing, as to become a process, to utilize the process of you. You know, each person has a name, each person has a purpose, each person has a place in this universe, and their journey has a special path. And it's for you to allow others to follow their own path. It's allow you to follow your path. It's for you to allow those people that are meant to be on your path to be a part of your path. You can't do that unless you allow yourself to study your own journey, unless you start to give yourself that kind of permission, unless you start to give yourself that place for the universe to have the energy called you, unless you give the universe the place for that energy inside to become that, to understand that. And that path, that purpose is you. And so how do you start to study that unless you get down to the simplicity of you? And what is something that's so simple that you can do other than breathe? What is something so simple that you can do other than get inside of yourself, to close the door, to sit in a place by yourself, to start to ask yourself the questions that nobody else would, the questions that nobody else can, the challenges that nobody else can, how you're going to do this. Are these things moving in my way in a positive direction? Am I putting myself in the right places for me? And what I mean by this, a positive place, because a lot of people would use that word right and wrong. I don't believe in right and wrong. I believe in positive and negative forces in the universe. positive path. How do you start your journey? Did that challenge come before you so that you can overcome it? Did that place get to the place where you could start to learn it? Did you start to get to the challenge inside of yourself so your mentality has that ability for you to be the student of your life? And what does it mean to be the student of your life? How do you get to the simplicity to go inwards? How do you get to the simplicity to be on this page, on this purpose, on these challenges, by utilizing the tools and the path that you are on? Because each of us have a path. Each of us have a purpose, and each of us have a beautiful life. It's up for you to allow your path, your journey, your purpose to have its own place. Each of you, no matter if you're sensitive, no matter if you're not, each of you have your own path. Allow those to follow their own path. Allow them to go on their own journey. Allow yourself to go on your journey, on your path, on your ability to be yourself, to choose your ability to go through what no one else can do for you, to allow yourself to pick the things that are honest with oneself, to overcome challenges, to overcome things, to be who you are on the inside, to not be selfish, but to be who you are. To be honest with yourself is not selfish. To be who you are is selfless. I would love for this world, I would acknowledge of a reflection of love for this world to become selfless. For everyone to start to become honest, to start to speak their mind, to start to speak who they are on the inside. The things that they do enjoy and the things that they don't enjoy. The positive forces and the negative forces in people's life. For them to recognize it. For them to sit down to study to that level. And what does it mean for you to get to that place? And a lot of people say that I am hardcore, that I am deep. And I am a knife in this universe. And I am here to extract the freedom within yourselves. The freedom within your path. I'm here for that person who is in that dark place to uplift them. I'm here for you to believe in yourself, to believe in the person that you are inside. That no matter if somebody abandons you, no matter if you're sleeping in a car right now, no matter if your wife or husband left you, no matter if your challenges came your way, I'm here to tell you that when you get down with yourself, when you get down with your path, when you get down with your purpose, the things that are positives can start moving into that kind of direction, into that kind of place. And you have to allow those things that aren't meant for you to move out of your way so that positivity can start moving in your direction. And it's with that level of self-study that you will find a place inside of yourself to liberate yourself from the fears, from the emotions, from the challenges that are facing off against you, because they have no place when this universe inside of you heats up to that level to stop you from extracting the knowledge that the lessons of freedom live within you, and that the place inside is a place of study. It's a place of ability. It's an able mentality. It's an ability to say to yourself, even when your day isn't going well, I'm going to turn this into a positive day. I am going to turn this into a positive place. I'm going to overcome my challenges when my mind and my body are connected to a level beyond. When you are focused beyond focus. When things aren't working and they're still moving in your direction. When you don't understand and you feel like you're in a stalemate and you're focusing beyond it. When you're getting to that place where you have the ability to overcome your challenges. When it's not about what's going on around you, it's about what's going on inside of you. If you take two people and you take them to a lake, one might absolutely see the positivity when another sees the negativity. Is it the mentality? Is it the ability? Is it the simplicity to sit down and to study? To recognize that this is a classroom, that this is a blessing, that every challenge that we face off against is moving us closer on our journey to positivity. And do we give ourselves the permission to? That's one of the biggest keys. Give yourself permission to be a positive person in the universe. To utilize light. to utilize the ability for you to shine, for your ability to be you, for your ability to face off against those things that you have, those challenges that you have, those blessings that you have can start moving in your direction. And give yourself time, give yourself patience, give yourself the ability to be with you, to be present inside of you, and have a purpose to be here, to be inside of this classroom, to be centered with your breath, with your understanding of your purpose. And as you give yourself the permission, the light inside will extract that knowledge from that energy inside of you, from that path inside of you, from that understanding inside of you. When you give yourself that place, what a blessing it is to be you. What a blessing it is to be me. To answer the question that knowledge is within, that knowledge is in the process. The knowledge is in the process. To become a teacher, you must first become a student. You must first sit down and spend time with you. So spend that time knowing yourself. Spend that time with yourself. Spend that time understanding yourself. Extracting the knowledge within. Recognizing that you are your best friend. That you are on your journey, that you are on your path, that your purpose is worth it, that your journey is worth it, that you can do it, and that you can achieve it. And that is so great that you think. It's so great that you have knowledge. It's so great that you have had challenges. It's so great that you can overcome stepping up a curb after the first time stepping and kicking the curb, or learning that there's a curb, or having the ability to sit down with yourself. Recognize that the simplicity of you being you is a blessing, that you being you is a path, that you being you is a purpose. And as you see it for you, as you give yourself that place, you will see that this is worth it, that you are worth it, that your challenges are worth it. And as you give yourself a place for patience to grow, and as you give yourself a place for patience to mature, as you give yourself a place for patience to reflect, as you give yourself a place to reflect from mentality, for reflect from ability, that the knowledge will start to extract. The ability for you to stand your ground will start to happen. Your ability for you to heal in ways that you didn't think you even could. For your ability to thought process to start to work properly. Where your heart starts to open up. Where you start to speak your heart, your mind, your mentality from within. That you start to become that person inside. That light starts to shine. It will start to let other people see that you are living in a place of self-study, that you are living on your path, that you are a living blessing in the universe, that the Most High God created you as a blessing, created you as a path, created you as a purpose, and to become uplifted to that place, to get to know that Most High God is a blessing. And are you understanding that knowledge inside exists? That you truly exist in the universe, that you are a path in this universe. And so as we start to explore that kind of place, as we start to explore that kind of purpose, as we get down with those kinds of challenges, it's going to require a certain type of mentality. It's going to require a certain type of understanding to extract that simplicity from your breath, from your energy inside, from your knowledge. And that outwards breath tests you like a teacher testing a student. It tests you to ask you if you have learned the lessons. Have you centered yourself inside of your classroom? Your whole breath is connected. Your whole being is connected. Your challenges are overcome. Because you are that kind of light in this universe, where when you focus and you utilize your knowledge to a place of extraction, you can liberate yourself from your emotion. You can liberate yourself from your fears. You can find an understanding all the challenges that you've gone through. You can find understanding from within yourself. When you get down with yourself to that level, it's a place where other people start to ask you, how did you create that level of practice? How did you get to that kind of mentality? Can I learn how to practice this kind of thing? Can I get to that place where it utilizes you? And that is when other things on the outside have no effect over you. It's when you focus, and your focus hits a place where it's centered inside of you, where your classroom is there and your knowledge and focus is centered to the point where your focus and your knowledge is there, and that you become that classroom. You become that path. You become that journey. You have that knowledge and focus inside of you. Do you recognize it? Do you see it for yourself? Do you see the blessing that is you? Do you see this path, this journey, this purpose, these challenges are there for you to overcome? They're not meant to stop you. They're not meant to hold you back. They're there for you to understand the lessons, understand the path, understand the purpose, understand the liberation, and to enjoy. And I want you to see that you can enjoy your life, that you can have a reason to live, that you can have a purpose in this universe, that you can have a path, that you can have a mentality, that you can get to the place where there is a reason to live, where there is a purpose to live, where there is a blessing that is called you, that the day that you were born had a purpose, that it had a place, that the day you were born it was written that you were born, and that that journey started, and that you have that place inside of yourself where your focus has a place for you. And you can and you will achieve your light. You can and you will achieve your being. If it's today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, it's with that kind of understanding that you start to see that other people's paths are worth it. It's when your knowledge and your focus are connected to that place that you allow others to follow their path. It's when others follow their journey. It's when others follow their understanding. And so focus to that place. Focus to that ability. Focus to that level where you allow those challenges to become overcome. Because when you do that for yourself, when you let those people that are not meant for you go out, when you gain that knowledge and that understanding inside of yourself, your path, your journey has a place. It has a purpose. It has an ability, and it means that you uplift yourself as well as other people from your level of focus and knowledge. Answer the question when other people ask, how disciplined am I? I am disciplined to the point where I know oneself. That place is focus and knowledge at a place of discipline where this is a classroom, and this classroom is a place that uplifts you as a reflection of inspiration. That is what it means. If there's one thing that I want to be known for on the face of the planet, I want to be known for uplifting you. I want you to become uplifted if you are in that dark place. I want you to recognize that your tools can pull you up, that they can bring you through. They can become a manifestation. They can become an ability that you can overcome your own challenges. You can get to that place inside of yourself where you radiate light, where you radiate energy, where you radiate positivity, where you radiate ability for your knowledge and your focus to become centered, and that you can become a blessing in the universe, that you can leave blessings for other people, that you can uplift other people, that you could become a positive force in the universe, and that the universe can uplift other people from your mentality, from your knowledge, from your understanding, that you are a light in this universe, that you are beautiful in this universe, that you are absolutely something great in this universe, because you are. Each of you have to believe it for yourself. Each of you have to see it for yourself. Each of you have to become it for yourself. Nobody else will do it for you. And I'm here to tell you that you have a place, you have a purpose, you are going to have challenges. And yes, those challenges are meant for you to understand. And yes, those challenges are meant for you to overcome. And yes, those challenges are going to come on a daily, a weekly, a monthly. And it's your mentality. It's that able ability. It's that when you sit down and write stuff down. It's when you put yourself in that place to extract that knowledge. It's when you sit down and decompress through meditation, through the ability of self-study, through the ability to utilize that energy inside of yourself, to utilize things like yoga, like running, like treadmills, like exercising, like writing, like speaking, like singing. They're all part of the same thing. They are a place of meditation. They're a place of understanding. Giving yourself that kind of patience, seeing that kind of place and hitting it every single day. Hitting it every single day so that you can perfect your own self. You can perfect your own craft so that you can be who you are on the inside. And that's going to require study. That's going to require knowledge. That's going to require understanding. That's going to require you utilizing your path, your journey. And there have been a lot of people across the face of the planet who have understood this. There have been surfers. There have been soccer players. There have been speakers. There have been writers. There have been authors. There have been meditators. There have been yogis. There have been people across the face of the planet. There have been tennis players who understand what I'm talking about. Becoming a part of the universe, using your knowledge and your focus to the place where you become disciplined, where you are a discipline, where you are a classroom, where you connect with your path, your journey to that place. And it's up to you to find it for yourself. They have found it for themselves. They have gone through those places. They have left those ripples. Think about those inspirations that have come and left the face of the universe in such a way that ripples are still left on the face of the planet. We can look at these like the Bruce Lees. We can look at these like the George Washingtons. We can look at these like those people that by night took it by storm. Those people who continued to focus past the challenges, that climbed the mountains that nobody else wanted to, that got to the place where focus was beyond that, where what on the outside no longer had an effect on what was going on inside, that they weren't surprised in the results. They weren't surprised in the challenges. They weren't surprised in the ability for them to be themselves. And it isn't selfish for you to be you. It isn't selfish for you to study your path, to see yourself as a positive force in the universe. It's within that place that you start to become it. It's within that place you start to achieve it. It's within that place you start to overcome your challenges. It's when you connect that place inside with that level of focus, with that level of discipline, where knowledge and focus become applied, that other people's life starts to become uplifted. It's when you use your gifts. It's when you use your abilities. It's when your level of focus becomes a process where you can do things to the place where other people won't achieve. It's when you achieve that place inside of yourself. It's when you get down with yourself to that level that the manifestation starts to radiate.
This is working all day.
It's within this universe that you start to get down with yourself to that point where your mentality is there for you. It's within that place that you start to overcome those kind of challenges. And so when other people start to become uplifted from you being you, don't be surprised in the results. When positive and negative forces come in your direction, search out the positive forces in this universe. Start to find the positivity. Start to find the ability that those things happen so that you could be right where you are right now. Because your journey is worth it. Your path is worth it. Your purpose is worth it. Your energy is worth it. Your motion is worth it. Your emotion is worth it. As Robert Kiyosaki, and I quote, Robert Kiyosaki stated, emotion is nothing less than energy in motion. So recognize your path, recognize your ability, recognize your purpose, recognize your energy in motion. Recognize that you are a energy in motion on the face of the planet. That both focus and knowledge lives inside of you. That both purpose and path lives inside of you. That both journey is there for you. That you are on your journey and that you can achieve it. But you have to get down with yourself to the place where you can. You have to get down with that place where you start to know you. You start to write stuff down. You start to speak things out. You start to understand that you can and that you have blessings. And if you are sensitive, recognize that you're sensitive. Bring positivity in a way that people will understand your sensitivity. Bring things in your way that people that will sit down and study with you will sit down to allow you to be you. They will allow you to go through your challenges. They will bring you towards positivity. They will bring you in a positive direction. They will bring you to a way that you are a positive force in this universe. And as you see it for yourself, bring yourself in that direction. Allow the things that are not meant for you to move out of the way. The things that are not positive to move out of your direction. Allow positivity to fill it. Allow positivity to become it. Allow positivity to be a part of it. And as we focus beyond it, as we focus through it, as we give ourselves that place, so do we free ourselves from the challenges that we face off against on a daily basis. I want you to become a level of discipline. I want you to become a light in the universe. I want you to connect with my network, motivation, meditation, inspiration, that you can become a reflection of motivation, that you can become a reflection of meditation, that you can become a reflection of inspiration, and uplift other people. Allow other people to see those tools working through you. Allow other people to start to become those tools for themselves. Allow other people to face off against the things that others would say is impossible, and that you can only be the one to overcome. Once Arnold Schwarzenegger was asked a question. He is famous for lifting up a 3,000 pound log on one shoulder. And they said it was impossible. And he said things are impossible until you do it. So when you achieve a level of success that others would see that as a result, when you do things that others can't do, when you face off against the things that others can't, which your life is that, each individual has asked themselves, how have they lived this long? They still yet to figure out how to create a life from nothing. They still have yet to figure out how to not allow people to leave this journey. They still yet to figure out how to do the impossible. And impossible is yet nothing but a mentality. Once it becomes possible, it's no longer impossible. So the laws of the universe are in place to understand. They're there for us to utilize. They're for us to overcome. They're for us to have an ability to see the blessings working through you, for your path, your journey to have that place. Because it's impossible for you not to be you. It's impossible for you not to have your thoughts. It's impossible for you to not have your ability. It's impossible for you to not find positivity in your life if you're searching for it. If you're searching for it truly. And if you're putting yourself in that pace every day. If you're paying yourself first every day. If you're giving yourself time on a daily basis. If you're putting yourself in that mentality. If you're putting yourself in that place. If you're giving yourself that kind of permission, positivity will start coming in your direction. And I want you to see that when you are focused, when you're disciplined, and your knowledge and focus are centered to a place where you are that discipline, that reflection radiates outwards, and it will uplift other people. It will uplift other people for you to be yourself. And that is when you will start to achieve your dreams. That's when you will start to achieve your goals. That's when things will start to happen in your direction. And that is when your manifestation will radiate light of inspiration as a place to answer the question that I ask myself every day. Is it meditation? Is it inspiration? And is it motivation? Is it focused knowledge and discipline to the place where the reflection radiates that to a light to where the centering of oneself radiates inspiration and uplifts you? I want you to see yourself in that way. I want you to become that for yourself. I want you to be uplifted to that place. I want you to reach that place of elevation from within. I want you to know that you are a blessing in this universe and that blessings work with you, around you, and through you. And the key is that they can work through you. They can work with you. The universe can work with you and it can work around you. And each piece of you, focus, knowledge, and discipline is important. And that it can work around you, with you, and through you. And I want to inspire you to be all of that. I want to inspire you to be all that you are. I want you to inspire you to go through all the challenges that you go through, all the abilities that you go through, all the things that you do on a daily basis that is you. And allow other people to be themselves too. When you allow others their path, their journey, your path, your journey has a place. When you allow yourself to go on your path, your journey, and allow them their own, it then has nothing to do with them anymore. And that is freedom. The freedom to understand that they're going to have their own path. They're going to have their own challenges. They're going to have their own positivity. They're going to have their own ability. They're going to have their own mentality. They're going to have their own challenges. And so do you give them their place? Give them their place so you can have your own. So that you can become the inspiration that you are inside. So that you could become that knowledge and focus and that radiating light in the universe. And so each of us is a blessing. Each of us is a path. Each of us is a journey. And you each have that place inside. And you are all that kind of light. I want you to recognize this for yourself. I want the universe to work in your favor. I want your path to work in your favor. I want your purpose to work in your favor. I want you to become uplifted. I want your stories to have a place. I want your path to have a purpose. I want you to see it for yourself. I want you to believe in yourselves. I want you to know that you can achieve things that only you can. And what a blessing it is when others join a journey that's meant to be on the same path. What a blessing it is when others join a purpose in a way in which the positivity is moving in that direction. And it's when you uplift other people when they are having a day that's not the most positive, to move them in a positive direction. And it is when you uplift them in that day that we are reminded that we can turn our situations around, that we can see the positivity in the challenges that we face off against, that we can see the ability to overcome them, that we can become a light in the universe. And what a blessing it is for each of you to be that kind of light in this universe. And I want you to dominate your walk. I want you to own your day. I want you to own your week. I want you to own your month in such a way that you see the blessings coming in your direction, and that it's not because of somebody else. It's because you are on your path. You are on your journey. And though we may be on a journey with others for a long time, we never forget our own path. We never forget our own journey. We never forget our own light is worth living. It's worth breathing. Your breath is a blessing. Your knowledge is a blessing. Your focus is a blessing. Your being is a blessing. Your human being is a blessing in this universe. And I want you all to see that. I want you to become that. I want you to light up this universe in such a way the light inside radiates beyond. You can achieve it. You are worth it. And you can do it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your dreams. You have to write them down in front of you. I want to inspire you all to be you. I want to inspire you all to study you. I want you to become that light in this universe that you are meant to be, that the Most High God made you to be. And I want you to see your purpose and allow others to have their own purpose, their own place, their own path, their own journeys. And as I get ready to close this, I want to leave you with that kind of inspiration, that when your focus and your knowledge is connected, you become a blessing in this universe. As I close, I just want to say blessings, blessings, blessings to all, and namaste.